Good morning, my loves. How are you all doing? I hope you guys are all doing well and managing to get through these major changes that so many of us have been going through. It's been a major change for all of us. And some of us will feel it more than others, and others may not feel it at all. Or they may feel something, but not sure what it is, right? There's change. It's all about change. We're in a time of shifting timelines. And no, it doesn't mean we're going to another planet. Timeline shifts really just represent consciousness. Consciousness. We're moving into a higher level of awareness and consciousness. And this is where so many of us are being presented with and challenged with changing, right? Because when it comes down to it, change starts with us. It has to start with us, right? So what does it really mean for us to shift timelines? How do we know that we are changing and shifting into that higher frequency and vibration? We know when we are at this place of understanding. And I know I've spoke about this on other videos, but I'm being called to express a little bit more because of what we've just been going through. There's been so many planets in Mercury, planets in retrograde, Mercury retrograde, new moons, equinox. There's been so many shifts in energy right now that are really affecting us on all levels. And that is the reason why I haven't been on in a while. Because I have been going through those shifts and changes. And during this transition and this transformation, what's happening is we're going to be in moments of high vibration where we feel amazing and everything is working out exactly the way we wanted or even better than we thought it would be, right? And then there's moments when we are just pushed right back down into the lull, into the lower vibration of despair and disappointment and fear and anxiety, right? This is happening for a reason. And this is the way the universe is trying to help us to awaken to our truth and authenticity. It's also trying to show us the difference in what it feels like when we are in a higher vibration and what it feels like when we're in a lower vibration. And there will be moments when we are so excited to move forward and we have all these plans, and then all of a sudden we're stopped dead in our track and we're pulled right back down to an old way of being, right? And then what do? We start to beat ourselves up and we start to get angry with ourselves and we start to talk negative about ourselves, right? But this is where we really need to shift that, okay? It's really for us to understand more than to judge or persecute ourselves, right? For having that moment of being in that low energy, because that's not what it's supposed to be representing for us, right? This is really a time of us seeing and allowing the true us to emerge. And that's why this timeline that we are creating right now is so difficult, because it's a timeline that has never been before, right? That is why we feel so uncomfortable, because this is not who we have created. This is not who that version of ourselves represented You know, we created a version, an old version, the old version of ourselves based on experiences that we've gone through in our life. Whether we allowed those experiences to define who we were, or we just learned to suppress and repress so deeply that we don't even understand or even know that we've done it, right? On an unconscious level. It happens on an unconscious level. We don't really know we're doing it. But why do we do it? Why do we create these illusions? Why do we wear these masks? Basically to protect ourselves, right? It comes from unhealed trauma in our life that we've never healed, but also not fully understanding. But we also carry the unhealed trauma of our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents. We don't realize that though. So we go through a whole lifetime or lifetimes of trying to get to a place of healing. And every time we heal a part of ourselves, we not only make room for us to tap in more to who we are, but we will be given more insight, more clarity, more focus. And in the process of that understanding and clarity, we begin to heal our ancestral line of unhealed trauma. We repeat lifetimes, if you believe in past lives, over and over and over, and I believe because we are trying to be fine or be okay with who we are. We continuously repeat those cycles and patterns and behaviors because we're unaware of where it's all coming from. It's in that moment when we start to put things together. And this is where we are now. We're in a place of, again, consciousness is rising. Vibration, frequency, everything has a vibration, everything has a frequency. And it really emanates through us, right? So it all depends on where you are. Again, on this journey of self-discovery and where your frequency and vibration is at this time or in that time. And based on that frequency and vibration, that is what we pull into our lives. That was what we attract into our lives, more of the same. Why do we keep repeating the same patterns and behaviors over and over and over? Well, a lot of times it's because we're not even aware that it's a pattern or a behavior, right? We really don't even know. We don't even know where it came from or how we developed it, right? But it gets repeated over and over and over in our life experiences until we get to that place of awakening, understanding, and that's when it makes sense for us. And they can take lifetimes. And when you think about the past lives, lifetimes before us, they were at a different place in time. A lot of things that we are awakened to now in this lifetime or timeline that we are creating has never been before. People got stuck in a way of being. They were shut down from expressing who they were, their truths, people with gifts and abilities were ridiculed or removed or left to die alone, or whatever way it played out in that lifetime. So when you think about it from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, that is something we carry in our DNA. Cellular memory. Our soul incarnates over and over and over until it can get to a place of awakening. And my loves, that is why we need to go through this shift. Because now is the time that we are supposed to end all of that suffering, clear all that unhealed trauma, awaken to our truth, welcome in our truth, not be afraid to show our truth. And if we don't allow ourselves to do that, we repeat a cycle. We continue to repeat that cycle over and over and over. So because we are going through this timeline shift of consciousness and awareness, we're being asked again to review, to see where everything is coming from. Make the connection. Most importantly, acknowledge it. Because once we can start to acknowledge all that we have gone through and how it has affected us, to bring us to a place of vulnerability, which most people do not like to be in. It is in that moment that we truly start to understand. Everything starts to make sense. It does. So when we're stuck in these moments of, especially now in this time of transition and transformation, when we feel that we're being pulled back into anxiety and depression and fear and all of those old things that we thought we have cleared resurface, it's the universe saying, let's look at this again. But let's look at it differently than we've ever looked at it before. And the only way we can really look at it differently is to first acknowledge it. Acknowledge it. And once we acknowledge it, then we get to see where it's coming from. And when we start to see where it's coming from, then we develop that new understanding of that and why and where and how. And when we understand it, that is when it shifts. That is when our awareness shifts into a higher frequency and vibration. Because now we have so much more clarity. Our perception is so much clearer. Why? Because we allowed ourselves to acknowledge. We allowed ourselves to get to the depths of our deepest subconscious shadow self by allowing ourselves to sit in the pain and feel through it. To become vulnerable enough to say, yes, I went through that. And this is how it made me feel. And yes, that old version that I created of myself was created to protect me, to block me from going through what I went through again. The disappointments, the betrayals, rejection, abandonment, questions that we never asked ourselves, because we created this tiny little picture of being something that we are not. And again, most of us are not aware of this. We don't even know we're doing it. It's just how we learned how to survive. So it's not about us judging that or judging ourselves. It really is not about judgment. It's really just about acknowledging it, understanding it. Because once you understand it, that's when it all shifts. And we may go through it a few more times. And we have to. Because there's layers to every experience that we have ever gone through. Not only the experiences that we are going through in this lifetime, but again, all of the past lives, ancestrals, generations, mother, father, sister, brother, all of the stuff that's been so neatly programmed and conditioned into us, that is so embedded into our cellular memory, that we created a whole version from it, right? So really this time is not about beating yourself up, not about judging yourself, not about fearing the changes. It's really just getting into a place of understanding it. We don't have to relive it. We just have to understand it. And once we could understand it, again, this is where we shift in consciousness and frequency. So my loves, I know this has been a tough time and a challenge, but I don't want you to beat yourself up. I don't. I really want you to pat yourself on the back to even allow yourself to get to this place, right? To even allow yourself to go through the things that you're going through, to allow yourself to go through those things. And I don't want you to beat yourself up if all of a sudden you're in such a high frequency and everything is working amazingly for you, and then all of a sudden you're pulled back down into that old version. I don't want you to judge that. I want you to look at it. Because as I said, there is always layers to every experience that we go through. So when we get pulled back down into a place of despair, depression, anxiety, it's to show us that there is still something that's trying to surface, something that we need to pay attention to, something that we need to acknowledge so that we can release that energy, that control that it has over us. And we can do that when we get into that place. It's by asking questions. Why am I being shown this? Why am I experiencing this again? What is it that you are trying to tell me? Show me with total clarity and knowing, so that I can get to a place of understanding it. And when I can understand it, then I can shift it. And even if it brings us back down again, what you will notice is the shift becomes quicker. It'll bring you back into that place because something else is resurfacing. And every time we acknowledge and see the changes and make the correlation and connection to where it came from, we release it quicker and quicker and quicker. Again, there's layers to every experience that we go through, even if we think we have let go of it or healed it, right? If it's still showing itself and it's still bringing you into a place of lower frequency, lower vibration, it's meant for you to stop, breathe, and look, feel, see what's being shown to you. It's only when we can allow ourselves to go through these shifts and these places of up and down and vibrations of high and low to understand where it's all coming from. Because it's only when we can understand where it's coming from that we will begin to understand who we truly are. Our experiences are not who we are. Our parents and grandparents' unhealed trauma is not who we are. We're not meant to continue to carry that. We're not. We're meant to clear it, especially now in this new timeline, because now is the time to end it all. End that reoccurring patterns and behaviors so that our children and their children do not continue to repeat those patterns. It's how we learn who we are. You could only learn who you truly are if you allow yourself to go through the experiences, acknowledge what you are going through, how it truly makes you feel, meaning vulnerability becomes your new best friend. We need to allow that. We need to speak our truth. We need to be able to be as transparent as possible. We need to take down those rose-colored glasses. And it's okay to sometimes stay in rose-colored glasses because sometimes it feels good. But at some point, we really need to see what's truly going on. We need to break those patterns. We need to release those illusions that we created of who we thought we were or what we created to protect ourselves so that we didn't have to relive the pain of whatever we went through. When you can start to shed like an onion being peeled one layer after another, when we can get to that place of allowing ourselves to sit with it, peel each layer one by one. Again, there's no race. You need to do this at your own pace. But when it shows itself and when it comes up, we need to pay attention. Because it is again in that moment where the universe is saying, it's time, my friend. It's time. Are you ready? There's nothing to fear. Fear is false experiences appearing real. It feels real, but it is not. It's just something we created from an experience or something we carried from past experiences of generations before us, ancestors before us. It's okay. We can let it go. Sometimes we have to look fear right in the face and say, you will no longer control me. But first you have to understand where that fear is coming from. Once you can understand where it's coming from, you can shift that energy like that. You have to believe in yourself enough, and trust yourself enough, and allow that everything that is happening is not to harm you in any way. It's to help you. It's to help you evolve into who you truly are. It's to understand what was created to protect yourself, that version. So that is why it's so challenging for so many of us now. Because it's time to release an old version of ourselves that was created in a way to protect ourselves or carry down from generation to generation, lifetime to lifetime, that we've never healed. Therefore, we just continue to carry it. So that old version doesn't serve us anymore. And if it's still presenting itself and you're repeating that cycle, it's probably because there is still a part of you that needs to learn what that lesson is. Or understand where it came from so that you can let it go. Again, my loves, the universe is not trying to harm you in any way. It's trying to push you forward, to evolve. Our soul came here to learn lessons, to continue to evolve, to grow, to understand, not to be stuck. in a repeated cycle over and over and over, especially a repeated cycle over and over and over, that really doesn't fulfill us in any way. What is your truth? Look around you. What doesn't fit anymore? What doesn't feel right to you anymore? Relationships, jobs, situations, circumstances. What is your soul trying to tell you? So I was pulling cards, or shuffling the cards, as I was making that statement, and what popped up. And this is from Metatron. I don't have the box, but these messages are from Archangel Metatron, and this is the message that came through. Communication. Speak up and be heard. Exactly what this new version, this true version, is helping us to do. It's about truth. It's about authenticity now. And anything that's inauthentic and not true, as you evolve and grow in frequency and vibration, will not feel right to you. Metatron is saying, communicate. Speak your truth. Who are you? What do you need to change within yourself that does not feel good anymore? What does not fill you anymore? What needs to change in your environment, in your relationship, in situation, in your circumstance? What needs to change? Speak up and be heard. And this is where, see, clearing throat chakras, right? Because we need to speak our truth. And this is where a lot of people are challenged because they're afraid to speak their truth. Again, because of feeling vulnerable and not wanting anyone to see that vulnerability within them. But again, my loves, that is part of who we are. It's our truth. We need to acknowledge how we truly feel. We can no longer shut ourselves down from what we need to see, hear, feel. What is real? What is truth? What is authentic? This is what this new timeline shift is representing for us. It's awakening and creating and allowing the truth of who we are, the truth of who we are. We need to allow it to emerge. It's who we've been always, from the start of when we first were created, right? Source energy. What does this journey really represent? What is it truly supposed to be representing for us? It's really just to get back to a place of love, unconditional love. Coming back to our heart. Who are we? Who are we? Who are we? Not who we created ourselves to be. Who is the true us? Love. We are love. We are divine. We're not meant to suffer. We're just meant to learn lessons, but we're not supposed to stay there. So again, this shift is about creating your truth. What is it that you truly want? What will truly fulfill you? Who are you? What do you need to get rid of? What do you need to let go of? What do you need to change? Communicate to yourself. Write it down. Whatever way you need to communicate to express how you truly feel is really important. It's time of being transparent, my loves. Clear, authentic, true. So don't let it stop you. Just embrace it and let it flow through you. Recognize whatever is being shown to you. Sit with it. Understand it. Try to make the connection to where it came from. And then, my loves, you shift the energy. It no longer will be part of you. And I have to say, it's been a long road, a hard road, a road of ups and downs, revelations, clarity, understanding. And it's been hard. It's been hard. But it's been amazing to finally get to a place where now I can see everything in its true, authentic form and what it truly represented for me, what my life meant, why I came here, what I wanted and needed to learn to get to the place of knowing who I am, loving who I am, clearing past lives of unhealed trauma, ancestral trauma, family, generational trauma, unhealed trauma. It's been a lot of work. But it is what's going to help shift the world into a higher frequency and vibration. And yes, we're human first, so it's not going to always be peaches and cream. We're going to have our ups and we're going to have our downs. But just recognize in this time of what we are going through, those ups and those times of high vibration that we go through is to show us, help us feel that vibration. How amazing does that feel? When we're in that vibration, that high vibration, we can do anything that our mind puts, that we put forward, we think about. We can do anything when we're in high vibration. And then when it brings you down into the lower vibration, don't get mad at yourself. Don't feel like you ruined your healing journey. What's surfacing for you? That's all it's about. It's about showing you what it feels like to be in a high vibration and how amazing it feels to be in this vibration. And again, I know we can't always stay in this high vibration, okay? But feeling that high vibration, knowing how much we can accomplish, what we can do, is unimaginable. We can do whatever we want. We're true manifestors. We're born with manifesting skills. It's part of our DNA. It's part of who we are. It's just we forget that in our travels, time travels, ancestral travel, all of that stuff. We forget how much we can really, truly do. And I know I have to remind myself every so often too. It's been a struggle, it's been a challenge, but it's helped me understand, right? So it's really to show you, what does that feel like? When we're in this vibration, doesn't it feel amazing? We can do anything. Think back of all the things that you did when you were in a high vibration. How brave you were, how courageous you were, how you accomplished so much. Did what it was that you really truly wanted to do. What happens when we're in this high vibration? Not only can we do whatever we want, but we end up attracting that vibration into our lives. So this is where the doors open up. This is where the right people show up, the right relationships show up, the right situations, because we're in a high vibration. So this is what we're attracting. We're pulling it in. We're like a magnet, bringing it to us. It's coming to us, right? When we get shifted back down to that lower vibration, again, it's just to take another look of what is trying to come up for you. The shadow parts of you that are still trying to resurface, to show you there's still a little bit more we got to do. So again, don't judge yourself or be mad at yourself or angry or feel like you did something wrong because you didn't. It's being shown to you so you can see what it feels like to be here, what it feels like to be there, to bring you back to what you still need to change. Another layer is coming up. But I'm telling you, when you're in a higher vibration, when you can get into this vibration and feel what that feels like, the clarity is so much more, and focus. So it helps us to really get more of a grasp on when these things do come up for us, right? Again, it's about understanding, acknowledging, understanding when we can shift the energy and bring us right where we're supposed to be. Not where we think we were supposed to be, but where we are meant to be in this new version that's trying to emerge through. It's not even a new version. It really is your true self trying to break through, trying to come back to show you we're freaking amazing. You have to just believe and see that. All right, my loves. So I don't want to continue going on and on, but I'm going to try to come on a little bit more. I will be announcing my new channel that I am creating content for, and look at my website and see the new sessions that I've created. If you have questions, you can email me at reikibyisabella@gmail.com. Visit my website at Reikibyisabella. Sorry, go back. Go to my website. It's isabella-reiki.com. That is my website. Reiki-isabella.com. I think. Whatever. You'll see it on the bottom of the screen. Can't think right now. That's another thing that I find too. As we, in my case anyway, is as I heal a part of me, or heal the past of things in the past that bothered me, things that controlled me or came up and took over, is when I came to this awakened state, understanding and clearing and knowing, clear knowing of why I had to go through what I went through. It all of a sudden is erased from my mind, from my memory. It's just like whoosh, gone. So sometimes I'll have those moments like just now of forgetting certain things. No, I don't have Alzheimer's. Not that that's anything to laugh about, but it's just you're clearing that. So this is what I mean when we're going into this new timeline. It's all of the things that we're healing, the things that we finally understand, why we went through what we went through and how we went through what we went through, where it all came from. And when we make that connection and understand that, it does get wiped out in a sense, right? Or if it shows itself, we have no attachment to it anymore. Therefore, meaning there's no emotion connected to it, right? And in that moment is when you know you have healed it. But it's like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh every time we heal, especially when we go to the depths of unraveling all the layers, going to the deep surface of where it came from. And when we do that, we're bringing back more of those fragmented parts of ourselves that we lost during the process or experience that we went through where we pulled it away from us. So every time we suppressed or every time we repressed, it really was to protect us from whatever we were going through. So when we shove that part of us down, try to erase that part of us, what we're doing is we're pulling those fragments, parts of our soul's fragments away. away, whether it's pushed down or it's just floating in the cosmos. And when we start to understand and start to heal, we start to bring those fragments back little by little, one by one by one, into our heart, back to us. And this is when we start aligning to who we are, because now we're bringing it all back. That is what the healing represents. Those fragments of our soul that we lost unconsciously, not knowing we're doing this, but to protect ourselves for whatever reason, or whatever we were going through, trauma, whatever it was. It just was taken away from us. And that's what creates that place of not feeling connected, not feeling right, that there's something not right with us, that there's something missing within ourselves. We're missing the fragments of our soul that we either consciously or unconsciously let go of to protect ourselves. And that also goes for ancestors, generations, and so forth, right? It's that energy, those fragments that are just lost in the cosmos, in the universe, all dimensions, directions, wherever it disappeared to. It went away. We shut it down. So when we start to see what we need to heal and understand why we need to heal it, and understand where it came from and why we did what we did and how we reacted or whatever we went through, when we get into that place of truly understanding, acknowledging and understanding, that is when you bring back those lost fragments of your soul that is trying to come back to you so that you could be in alignment with yourself. Again, I know I just used that, the flying out in the cosmos. It's not necessarily what's going on. It's more you're just so suppressed. It's so repressed. You pull it away from yourself because you don't want to deal with that pain, whatever way you chose to protect yourself, or what you carried from generations before, ancestors before. We've buried it so deep within, it shows up in our body, in different ways. But before I go on and on and on, again, you can visit my website at isabella-reiki.com to see the new services that I am offering. Also, if you need to reach out to me and have a question, you can email me at reikibyisabella@gmail.com. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on TikTok. You can follow me on Instagram as well as YouTube by subscribing, pressing that little button and subscribing. And you'll be notified every time a video is uploaded. Okay? So my loves, enjoy this journey. Embrace it. Don't let it keep you stuck. Don't let it put you into fear. Just enjoy it. Embrace it. Become the observer of it more than anything. Observe it as everything is unraveling before you. Observe it. And then allow yourself to acknowledge, understand, heal, let it go. So that you continue to bring back those missing parts of you. And in essence, again, as I said earlier, every time you heal a part of yourself, you're healing your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, generations, ancestors, all of it. You're healing them and helping them to come back into alignment with them. Multi-dimensional. We are multi-dimensional all over the place. But what we are doing in this new timeline is bringing all of that here, now, healing it, and creating a new world. Allowing the true version of who we are to emerge fully in truth and authenticity. So don't be afraid. Don't fear it. Don't fear it. You are going to be happy when you can bring all of you back. And then everything will make sense. It will all make sense. Love you all. Have an amazing day.